Welcome to English as a Second Language podcast, number 7, At My Desk, On Break, and At Lunch. This is English as a Second Language podcast, episode number 7. I'm your host, Dr. Jeff McQuillan, coming to you from the Center for Educational Development in beautiful Los Angeles, California. In this episode, I'll talk about working at my desk, going on a short break, and going to lunch. Let's get started. On the way to the office, I was thinking about what I have on my agenda today. When I get to my desk, there is a stack of new memos and papers in my inbox. When I turn on my computer, I see at least 24 emails I need to go through. Just as I start in on the email, my phone rings. It's my project manager, Julie, asking me to come in for a conference call with our head office. I don't get back to my desk for nearly 2 hours. By that time, I was ready for a break. At 10:30, I head down to the break room and get some hot water at the water cooler to make some tea. There were a couple of other people on break having snacks out of the vending machine and reading the new notices on the bulletin board. I run into Sam, one of my friends at work, and we chat a little before going back to work. Before long, it's time for lunch. I usually bring my lunch with me to work and eat it at my desk. If I don't have time to pack a lunch, I sometimes go across the street for some takeout. The only trouble is, it's always so busy during the lunch hour, and I always have to stand in line. That's usually a pain. On Fridays, I usually go out to lunch with a few friends from work. On casual Fridays, we can kick back a little and take it easy. Part 6 is called At My Desk, On Break, and At Lunch. Notice the use of those prepositions. Prepositions are very difficult to translate, and many people get confused when you start learning another language, trying to figure out what those little words, which word should you use. There's a difference between at my desk and on my desk and in my desk. Those all mean different things. On your desk means something is on top of your desk, like your computer. In your desk means something is inside one of the drawers of your desks. At your desk means that you are sitting next to your desk. You are, we hope, working, like you're supposed to be working right now instead of listening to this episode. On break is the expression we use when you are stopping work for a short time, usually 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. At lunch means you are going to lunch, you are eating. We don't say in lunch or on lunch, we say at lunch. The best way to learn those little prepositions is just to read and to listen more and more, and eventually you will know them without even having to study them. Our story begins by me saying that on the way to the office, I was thinking about what I have on my agenda today. Your agenda, A-G-E-N-D-A, means your plan for today. What are the things that you have to do today? This could include meetings. It could include phone calls. You could have many different things on your agenda. There's another expression, to have an agenda. To have an agenda means that you have a plan, sometimes a secret plan that you don't tell anyone about, that makes you want to do a certain thing. It's like having an opinion and trying to get other people to do what you want them to do. That's to have an agenda. But here, agenda just means a list of things that you're going to do. When I get to my desk, there is a stack of new memos and papers in my inbox. Stack, you'll remember, is when you have thin things on top of each other. You can have a stack of pancakes. Here we have a stack of papers and memos. A memo, M-E-M-O, is short for memorandum, and it is usually like a letter that you send to someone in your company, in your office. Your inbox, I-N-B-O-X, can be a little box on your desk where people put things for you to do, your boss, for example. And when you are done with them, you can put them in your outbox. Those terms inbox and outbox are also used for email programs now. When I turn on my computer, I have at least 24 emails I need to go through. The expression to go through here means I have to read them and maybe respond to them. Someone may say, I have to go through my email. They mean I have to read my email. And I have to respond sometimes to my email. I have to do that every day, just like you do, but most of my emails come from you. Just as I started in on the email, my phone rings. The expression to start in on something means to begin to do something. So I start in on my phone calls. That means I have many phone calls and I start making them. I begin making them. There's a different expression to start in on someone, on a person. And if you start in on a person, on your brother, on your wife, that means that you are criticizing them. You're saying something bad, something negative about them. When I was younger, if I didn't do my homework, which was often, my mother would start in on me, meaning she would criticize me. Jeffrey, do your homework. The only person who calls me Jeffrey is my mother. Back to our story. I said that my phone rang, and it was my project manager, Julie. The manager is the person that is in charge of a certain group of people, someone who is the boss, and a project is just a set of things for you to do, usually related to each other. Well, my project manager, who is like my boss, asked me to come in for a conference call with our head office. A conference, C-O-N-F-E-R-E-N-C-E, call, is a telephone call with 3 or more people. And that's very common in American business and in international business to have a conference call. So more than one person can talk on the telephone. The head office, HEAD, is the same as the main office. And this is where the company has most of its important people who are working. It's sometimes called its headquarters. The head office is the main office. The opposite of head office would be a branch office. BRANCH. A branch office is a smaller office. We're having a conference call with someone in our head office, and I didn't get back to my desk. I didn't return to my desk for almost or nearly 2 hours. By that time, I was ready for a break. At 10:30, I head down to the break room. The break room, BREAK, room, 2 words, is a place in a building in your office where people can go and read and relax, perhaps eat their lunch or eat some food. It's a place for you to stop work and to relax a little or to talk to other people. I use the verb to head down. That simply means to go to somewhere. We sometimes use that expression when we are talking about going to a different place. I'm going to head down to the boss's office. I'm going to go over to the boss's office. Well, I head down to the break room. I go to the break room and get some hot water from the water cooler. The water cooler, COOLER, is a little machine that has water, and you can get hot water or you can get cold water. That expression, the water cooler, is very common when people say, I heard it at the water cooler or around the water cooler. That usually refers to people who are gossiping, who are talking about things they probably shouldn't. Well, I went to the water cooler and I made myself some tea because I love drinking tea. There are a couple of other people on break. Notice that we use that expression, on break, people who have stopped working, having snacks out of the vending machine. A snack, S-N-A-C-K, is a piece of food that you eat between breakfast and lunch, or between lunch and dinner, or between dinner and going to bed. A vending machine, VENDING, is a big machine where you can buy usually food. The verb to vend, V-E-N-D, means to sell. So it's a place where you can sell food, and you put your money in and you can press a button and you get things like cookies and potato chips, all the things that are not good for you in the vending machine. Some people are also reading the new notices on the bulletin board. The bulletin board, B-U-L-L-E-T-I-N, board, 2 words, is a big piece of usually wood or plastic where people put important messages for other people to read. You can have a bulletin board at your work. You can have a bulletin board in a school. And usually it's a place where different people can come and read the news or new things or new announcements. I run into Sam, one of my friends at work. The verb to run into means I meet him, although I was not expecting to meet him. So I run into Sam and we chat a little before going back to work. To chat, C-H-A-T, means to talk, usually about something not very important. Before long, it's time for lunch, meaning after a short time, it's time for lunch. Before long means a short time or after a short time. I usually bring my lunch with me to work and eat it at my desk. Notice that use of at my desk means I'm sitting by my desk and I'm eating my lunch. Sounds kind of lonely. If I don't have time to pack a lunch, I sometimes go across the street for some takeout. To pack, P-A-C-K, a lunch, means to make your lunch at home, a sandwich, for example, and put that into a bag or a box that you take with you to work. That is to pack a lunch. If I don't pack a lunch, I usually eat takeout. T-A-K-E-O-U-T. Takeout is when you go to a restaurant, but you don't eat at the restaurant. You don't dine in, we would say, D-I-N-E, in. You don't dine in, you do takeout. You can also have the restaurant deliver the food, bring the food to your house or bring the food to your office. And we would call that delivery. So you can dine in, you can do takeout, meaning you go to the restaurant, or you can have delivery. Someone brings the food to you. The only trouble is, I say, it's always so busy during the lunch hour. The lunch hour in most American companies is from noon to 1 or 1:30 or 11:30 in the morning to maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's usually longer than an hour, though in some companies you only get 1 hour. Some companies you only get 30 minutes to eat. I always have to stand in line because it's so busy. To stand in line means to wait behind other people. In England, they would say to queue. In the US, we say to stand in line. I say that's usually a pain. When we say something is a pain, P-A-I-N, we mean that it's very inconvenient or uncomfortable, something you do not like. People will also say a pain in the neck or a pain in the butt, B-U-T-T. Those are the same basic meanings. Something that's a pain in the neck or a pain in the butt means it's not something that you like. It's very inconvenient. On Fridays, I usually go out to lunch. I go to eat somewhere else with a few friends from work. On casual Fridays, we can kick back a little and take it easy. Casual, C-A-S-U-A-L, is the same as informal. In many companies in the United States, they have Casual Friday. And that's a day where you do not have to wear as nice of clothing. Maybe you'll wear a t-shirt and not a suit jacket, or you don't have to wear a tie. And it's also a day where people feel a little more relaxed. Usually it has to do with what you can wear to work. Well, in the story, I say that on Casual Fridays, we can kick back a little and take it easy. To kick back, C-I-C-K-B-A-C-K, 2 words, means to relax. It's an informal expression that means that you are relaxing. And take it easy also means relax. Kickback is a little more informal. It's something that you might do, for example, with your friends. If you drink alcohol, you might have some alcohol and relax. That's to kick back. Now let's listen to the story, this time at a normal speed. On the way to the office, I was thinking about what I have on my agenda today. When I get to my desk, there's a stack of new memos and papers in my inbox. When I turn on my computer, I see at least 24 emails I need to go through. Just as I start in on the email, my phone rings. It's my project manager, Julie, asking me to come in for a conference call with our head office. I don't get back to my desk for nearly 2 hours. By that time, I was ready for a break. At 10:30, I head down to the break room and get some hot water at the water cooler to make some tea. There were a couple of other people on break, having snacks out of the vending machine and reading the new notices on the bulletin board. I run into Sam, one of my friends at work, and we chat a little before going back to work. Before long, it's time for lunch. I usually bring my lunch with me to work and eat it at my desk. If I don't have time to pack a lunch, I sometimes go across the street for some takeout. The only trouble is, it's always so busy during the lunch hour, and I always have to stand in line. That's usually a pain. On Fridays, I usually go out to lunch with a few friends from work. On casual Fridays, we can kick back a little and take it easy. She always writes us a great script before kicking back at the end of the day. I speak of our scriptwriter, Dr. Lucy Say. Thank you, Lucy. From Los Angeles, California, I'm Jeff McQuillan. Thank you for listening. Come back and listen to us again right here on ESL Podcast.